So since you're coming in, I have to preface this that, it is May 6th and 2 days ago was May the 4th, and I am not I'm not going to call myself a Star Wars fan, right? I'm not. I didn't grow up with Star Wars. I watched the prequels as a kid. I enjoyed the Clone Wars, which I think a lot of people enjoyed Clone Wars. The Clone Wars was really good. General Grievous was one of my favorite characters. I watched the new movies, right? I watched the new movies and I was like, I think besides like Rogue One, I was pretty much whelmed. Like they didn't like have a lasting impression on me. It didn't help that people were kind of like the fandom at that point in time during the sequels was just awful, right? It was just they brought in a female protagonist and it was just everyone just went to shit. And they brought in a black character and they brought in all this and everything just went awful. And ever since then I have been very, very distanced from Star Wars. um yeah, I'm gonna watch it for you guys for the fourth time. This is the reveal for Renegades, which is coming out in December. They're gonna show us
chocolate combination inside.
so they preface it by saying that pretty much everybody on the team is looking forward to it, and it was like, oh, it's a franchise we've all grown up with. It's all very important to us, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if it's like Halo, like something that they actually grew up on, but everybody like here at Bungie didn't work on, but like it's really important to them. So it's like, okay, cool, it's Halo, like maybe it's Halo, like something like that.
To a universe that has inspired Bungie from the start. It's a universe that all of us here on the couch grew up with, as well.
And I got really excited because I was like, oh, I wonder what kind of game they're talking about, right? I was like, maybe it's Metroid,
It is a
you know?
peanut butter and combination, a peanut butter and like chocolate combination inside.
Well, they have done stuff for Halo, and I mean, it is Bungie, but,
And so I am absolutely thrilled to be able to give our first sneak peek at Destiny 2.
So, like, yeah, Ginger, not only is it Han Solo's pistol, there's also a lightsaber. And, yeah, so, like, I don't know if they're just... And it has Lucas's film's logo on it, which means they had to pay for the licensing, right? For some of these things. Because, they're showing off all the stuff, right? And maybe we're gonna get this, like, what is the skimmers that were in the prequels, right? You can't mimic Star Wars and not pay, George. You gotta pay the mouse its money. You gotta fucking give them all the cash in the world. So my big thing is, like, I was fine with, like, noob, this isn't just a crossover, this is a entire expansion. It's an entire expansion based on Star Wars. And the funny part is Noob and Gendred, you guys were not here. I literally said they showed this like way at the beginning. I should have clipped it, right? I probably will have to go back and clip that moment where I literally looked at the reveal for the Edge of Fate, right? I looked where they showed the timeline, and I said, huh, that's funny. That looks like Star Wars. I was like, that font is Star Wars font. And I don't know if it's because of the boxing around it or if it's just the letters in general. I was like, that's Star Wars lettering. And as soon as they show more for Renegades, it's literally just Star Wars. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I called that real early. I don't know. They haven't said anything else about it. They just said that it's inspired by Star Wars, And so, like, because I, like, really like the way that the team has always done their fonts, right? I've actually really praised Destiny for its fonts. For example, we're looking at the Edge of Fate here. This is incredible font work. I am always really happy. I thought Heresy's font work looked really good. Even, like, Revenant and Echoes, I wasn't... quote inspired. Even like Echoes, which I didn't think those episodes were like fully that good. Their font work and their like logoing was fantastic. So when I up every now and then, Okay, so this is when I saw it first, right? And I was like, man, that sure does look like Star Wars. So Destiny 2 Renegades is its own season. So it can't just be Star Wars, right? It's just it has to be like, it has to be like just inspired by, right? Because it is so I won't accept Destiny becoming part of the Star Wars universe. I That's something I just if that happens, I'm taking my headphones off and I'm walking away. Like I don't think I would play Destiny after that point.
In multiple ways. And so progressing through the Fate Saga is going to be more meaningful with 2 expansions a year.
So it's going to be 2 expansions a year. I'm pretty sure their seasons are still going to be things that like are FOMO and they go away. And I think that's the biggest thing that I'm still kind of upset about at this point is that like if it's FOMO and it's going to go away, how are they going to dramatically change the story, right? I feel like with Renegades, because they know it's going to go away, they're just kind of doing whatever they want to do. And that's where they're like, well, we've got a lot of money. Let's throw it at Star Wars. And so, like, every single time they do something like this, I'm just sort of like, so that's where all that Sony money went from Bungie, not just to, Pete Parsons, but also to Star Wars, apparently. See what happens when we lose Tangled Shore? We make a new one. Yeah, right. When it's like when people were talking about when we were discussing this in one of my servers, and they were saying something like, "Oh, you know how when D2 came around, we had not Mars and not Venus. Which was Io and Nessus, right? It was Io was not Mars and Nessus was not Venus. And so it was that kind of thing where they were just like they took away Mars and Venus, but look, it's like the same thing. So yeah, I saw the Destiny 2 Renegades and I was like, yeah, that sort of looks like Star Wars. So I don't know what this is going to be like. I don't even think I will play it. I'm definitely not pre-ordering it. 100% I'm not pre-ordering it. I don't care. But I know that Ash and Iron is supposed to be free to play, which I'm assuming means Shadow and Order means free to play. I don't know. I'm not sure. I guess this is a really great thing if you're a Star Wars fan and you like Destiny, right? I'm guessing, like, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are very excited right now who really like Destiny and they really like Star Wars, and this is like a dream come true. But I really like I still think I should just go back to what I originally said, and that it feels like fanfic. Right? I don't know if the seasons are available. So there's a pre-order. So there is a pre-order. Like you have to buy the expansions, right? Destiny 2 Renegades and Destiny Edge of Fate are going to be expansions that you purchase. And seasons are always like, I don't know if the seasonal like story is going to be free to play because I don't think the story is tied to the seasons anymore. I don't know what that's going to look like because originally you had to buy the seasons, right? And the seasons had their own stories and they were like $10 and you got the season pass and everybody could play the season pass. They would just get the bottom bar and then they would get the top bar and then people who paid for the season pass would get the bottom bar, which had like, the Sparrow and had the paid for goodies like the Sparrow, the Ghost, the ship, and any like ornaments that you would get. But this, I don't know if that's what it's going to look like. I'm assuming so because even the episodes that came out this year, the 3 episodes, they had the same season pass, but they're calling this like the Edge of Fate. They're calling it closer to something like Rise of Iron, right? And that's what their updates are going to be like. Is these sort of pockets of story that they can really put a lot into. They keep saying Rise of Iron. I keep thinking of Curse of Osiris or Warmind. More Warmind because Warmind had so much content in it. At least when I played it, it was so much to do, and I could just slowly and carefully work my way through it because I had years to do it, and it was very enjoyable. Ash and Iron, if you are a fan of Rise of Iron, we are going back to the Plague Lands, and I know there's a lot of people who are excited about that. I know a lot of people I didn't see it, but like a lot of people, I could hear them in the cosmos so excited because they're going back to the Plague Lands and going back to potentially something with Siva, which, by the way, it has literally been, what, 8 years? Something like that since I even touched Siva. So, like, you know, they've mentioned, I think the last time they really mentioned Siva, besides the fact that we got, like, Outbreak Perfected back, was Nessus actually has Siva, like, Failsafe's Exodus Black has Siva on board, right? So there's Siva on Nessus, and it's never done anything. So I'm assuming they just forgot about it, and they're never going to do anything with it, because they're going back to the Plague Lands before they go to Nessus. So we'll see. I just don't know how I feel about this. This does not make me excited to play Destiny. Like I said, it feels like fanfic. It feels like everybody's fans and they wanted to do something Star Wars-ish, and it just feels like a fandom fever dream type of thing. I miss Titan. Seasons are, let me see. I only managed to get the Splicer title of all the seasons I bought. I've gotten a few. My favorite one was Season of the Dawn, but I don't usually go for titles unless I really like a season. I think the last season title I got was Haunted. Maybe something else, maybe Season of the Deep, just because it was easy to get it. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what it means. This does look silly and fun. This is coming on Friday, and it's a new PvP version where it's literally just Briggs versus tanks.
People at home don't know.
Which I think is funny.
You have a new reward. That's a unique thing.
I think that's fun. That looks silly. That looks silly to me. That just looks like stupid fun.
Combat vehicle that goes in your Sparrow slot.
So you get like you get silly stuff, silly stuff like that. The other big thing that actually made me very excited. Let me see if I can find it. There is now a shooting range in the game.
Everything in your kit, everything about your build.
So as you can see here, they actually finally put in items, and they're trying to use Star Wars to get people to play the game. Like, I'm sure that people will play the game regardless. This makes me not want to play it, basically. Like, everybody else, I'm like, you can have fun in Renegades. I never want to play Destiny 2 ever again. Like, you know, like that's my knee-jerk reaction is I'm not playing this game anymore. And it feels like, that's what it is. They're losing the plot, right? The pirate stuff was cool, right? So, for example, when we think about, like, the themes and how they sometimes lean too much into those themes, when Plunder came out, they had the pirate stuff, and the pirate stuff was cool. But then they, like, you know, they lost the plot a little bit because the pirate stuff was there on the side, when the real problem wasn't pirates, it was Aramis trying to turn Ido against, you know, Mithrax and Mithrax's bad, you know, past and everything like that, and the tensions between these two houses of Elixni. And so, like, and for when I look at Renegades, I've you know, that jumping the shark. This feels like a jumping the shark, right? Is that if they're losing the plot, they're jumping a shark, and to try and be like, we're gonna make a whole expansion based around Star Wars, not just a collab, which the collab is fun. Because I think the collab is great. If people want to, like, look like a stormtrooper or have, like, Star Wars based clothing and stuff like that, I think that's fun, and I think they should have those abilities because that's just as cool. Because I liked the Mass Effect one, right? I think the Mass Effect one is cool. I like having the ship, and I like having Edie, and so, like, but this feels like it's a step beyond, like, a collab and into something that I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's in a whole expansion for Star Wars, and I'm just sort of like, shark, you know, like, that's how I'm feeling. So maybe they can change my mind on it. So far, they haven't. And when it comes to Destiny as a whole, we'll have to see what happens in July, how I even feel about playing it. I've been very on the fence about Destiny. A crossover with the largest science fantasy variant, I could see why they would. I can understand why they would too, but it feels desperate. Right? Feels desperate to go and make a whole expansion based on that. it doesn't feel like Destiny. I play this game because it's Destiny. I don't play this game because it's Star Wars. If I wanted to play a Star Wars game, I would play Star Wars. I don't want to play a Star Wars game. And if I did want to play a Star Wars game, I'd probably go and buy that good Star Wars game because people said, hey, I know you don't like Star Wars, but this game is actually really good. I want to play Destiny. I want to play that game. And so them trying to I don't want to say they're trying to be Star Wars, right? Because they said it's in Bungie's DNA since Bungie started. But like when they try and like have this expansion be fully Star Wars, to me, I'm like, the more you move this way towards Star Wars, the less you move away from Destiny. At this point in time, I think, I'll still play Destiny to play Destiny, right? I think I heard I was watching the Destiny Digest podcast, and somebody in chat said, Destiny has become I'll play it with friends if they ask me to game. And I think I agree with that, right? I think that's a good sentiment to have. Destiny is now if my friends ask me to play it, I'm going to play it. I am like, if I need to do raid helps or something, I will do raid helps. If I need to do dungeon helps, I will do dungeon helps. But I don't think I'm going to play it for the story anymore. We'll see what happens with Edge of Fate. Edge of Fate does look kind of cool, and I'm happy Orin is back. And I still think the aesthetic of the game looks neat. I want to see what that, screw attack morph ball is all about. I think that's really cool. But I don't think I'm going to be putting money towards this. If I'm going to put money towards Bungie, I'm putting money towards Marathon. Because Marathon and what it is offering for me is stinking incredible. It is absolutely fantastic. And this to me just says everything that I've already thought about with Destiny, which is they need to move away from Destiny 2 and they need to focus on another game. And if Marathon succeeds, perhaps they will have the chance to do that, right? Because I know they're like, this Edge of Fate thing is a multi-year situation. And I'm just sort of like, get ready. Get ready to keep paying for this game for the next 5 years. 5 more years of Destiny 2. Never going to get another version of this franchise. Never going to see a new thing for this game. So, that's kind of where my brain is at, is I want something fresh. I'm happy for them, but this isn't made for me. This here is not for me. So if it's not going to be a game, and that's one of the reasons why I streamed this, right? I wanted to watch The Edge of Fate and be like, is Destiny still a game for me? And I think Edge of Fate is still a game for me. I don't think whatever this is at the end of the year, that's not a game for me. This is a game for other people, and I think that's going to be okay. It's okay. This is a game for people who really are into this thing, They make their entire personality Star Wars, or they're just really into Andor, or they just really love that nostalgia. I don't know, but it's not a game that I want to play. They're not making a game for me anymore. And I think by the end of the year, I'll be all right with that, I think Destiny 2 will be a game where I'll be like, given a nice little pat on the head and be like, you did great. I had fun with you. And I met some really great friends. But I'm not really going to play you very much anymore. You're not my game. You're other people's game. And I'll see you later, because the game that I played and I enjoyed doesn't exist anymore. It's the Ship of Theseus Destiny 2. And so, I can't play Red War. I can't play all of these things. I'm going to put some music on in the background. When they first showed Edge of Fate and they started talking about time change, time travel and stuff like that, these people have been around for a long time, and the dates, Drifter in the cutscene looked like he was going between younger and older and current and all of these things. I was like, what would be really cool is if they use this as an excuse for people to go back in time and play through the Red War again, to go back in time and play sections of Curse of Osiris, to go back in time and play those sections of Warmind. I was like, that would be a really cool way to, one, allow new players coming in to still play these old places in small snippets that aren't just the timeline, but are actually like part of the story again. And like, you know, you can go back there and you can go out and you would like jump suddenly to Red War, or you would jump suddenly to something in like The Taken King, or like something from Destiny 1. You know, like these weird time skips and time loops that you would get yourself into. That's not what's going on. It doesn't seem that way with the story. If it is, I would like them to advertise that, because that would make me happy. And it would allow me to say, hey, if you ever wanted to play the old content for Destiny 2, they're bringing it back with this new expansion. But I don't think that's happening right now. So the fact that it's not about that, they're bringing in a new character, they're doing new things with it, that's fine. That's okay. It's just, you know, the game that I played 6 years ago doesn't exist anymore. A game doesn't exist. I would just like other experiences in Destiny and in that universe besides this one character that we've been carrying around for the last 10 years. I just kind of want a fresh take on this system, and not like a fresh take that my character that I've been playing for 10 years goes off and plays, right? I want like a brand new story from the start. Let's close the chapter. I still consider Final Shape to be like the closing of a book, you know, and now I want a new book to open. And I don't think this is the new book I want to open yet. So we'll see. I have ideas all the time for what I would like for Destiny, but I don't think the game Destiny is going to want to do that. So, you know, with that said, I'm going to put some music on really fast, and I am going to take a quick break. And then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do after that, because I still want to play some games today. I don't want to just talk about this. But I do need to go to the bathroom, and I want to get a bite to eat. And maybe